Ever wondered how will the Demon Slayer story change if the genders of our favorite characters were flipped? If Nezuko was a man instead of a maiden, will she still have the same backstory? And what about our Tengen-sama? What if he was a Kunoichi instead of a ninja? Today, I swapped all the genders for some of the most important Demon Slayer characters, and you won't believe how the story would play out. Let's start with Mitsuri. If she was a man, would she still have the same kind of problems as she did in the original story? Nah, society would absolutely celebrate her monstrous strength. Naturally, she'd also have way more confidence because people are drawn to strong, masculine men. There won't be any marriage issues at all like in her original backstory. In fact, Mitsuri may end up with too many admirers. Of course, she will probably still end up being the love Hashira. She'd be like a wandering romanticist who sets out to explore the world before ever becoming a demon slayer. Next, what do you think of Tengen? He is a handsome ninja Chad with 3 beautiful wives. But what if he was a beautiful Kunoichi instead? Tengen Uzui as a Kunoichi would basically be a force of nature. If the genders were switched, the whole entertainment district arc would change because he would now infiltrate the district all by himself. Considering how much of a looker he is as a man, just imagine how gorgeous he'd be as a woman. Tengen may even end up as an oiran because of his insane beauty and charisma. He may even take a 1 or 2 year career break to live the flamboyant lifestyle as the top woman of the district. Much to Aboyashiki's dismay, who's coughing up blood because he's so disappointed. Tengen would end up going head to head with Daki as an oiran, competing against each other with the dynamics of the top 3 houses. We'd end up with an Imperial Palace drama instead of Demon Slayer. In this alternate reality, he'd probably also end up with 3 husbands.
That is hot.
And we haven't even gotten into his larger-than-life persona. Although between him being a girl and having the personality of a lion, the backstory is going to play out very differently. We already know about Tengen's father. He had his own sons kill each other because their entire clan was full of weird social Darwinists. So naturally, Tengen being a strong and beautiful woman would be the antithesis to everything the clan stands for. His existence will be an act of rebellion against their clan. It's absolutely certain that his father would try to kill him before the age of 10. But Tengen would manage to flee the clan with help from his many suitors and destroy their fragile reputation. This could potentially lead to an entire arc of its own because of all the social implications. Moving on to the next character, how about female Zenitsu? Zenitsu-chan would probably still end up in the rejection loophole despite being a woman. He'll be like one of those clumsy girls who end up lending all their money to their boyfriend thinking they're in love. So yeah, Zenitsu-chan would still end up with that juicy 600,000 yen debt. Of course, this also means that Zenitsu-chan would be super insecure. He may end up developing a crush on Tanjiro. Like, imagine Zenitsu getting all flustered and desperate and trying to impress our boy Tanjiro. That'd be hilarious. Ultimately, he would have a better reputation among fans than the regular Zenitsu because although the gags would continue, it'd be so much cooler to see a female character freaking out one moment and speed blitzing demons the other. Overall, I'd say his story wouldn't be the same as Mitsuri's actual story, but it'd definitely rhyme. Alright, next we have Kanao. If Kanao were a man, her family would have likely still sold her for slave labor because you can't cure scum parents.
You are scum! You think...
So yes, even if Kanao is a guy, she would still be sold or either end up working like a slave for her own parents. Let's assume that the Kocho sisters still free her the way they did in the original story. They'll raise Kanao like a younger brother, and we could end up with a similar kind of relationship as Inosuke and Shinobu. A direct and protective relationship where Kanao might not be able to open up to the Kocho sisters, but she'll still always try to be protective of them in her own innocent way. Who knows? Maybe Tanjiro can still be the one who ultimately helps Kanao open up, kinda like the way he helped Giyu stop his self-loathing. Now let's move on to Doma as a woman. That would definitely be good. A female cult leader with a twisted sense of compassion? I wonder if women would still be female Doma's favorite snack. This sounds like something straight out of Greek mythology, which makes you wonder if female Doma can use his unusual beauty and charisma to convince the people that he is in fact actually a goddess while hiding his sadistic nature. And if people start willingly sacrificing themselves and offering their blood to female Doma, then he may also grow on to become about as strong as Muzan. In fact, she'd probably end up as the wife of Muzan. And together, they could be a crazy power couple or something. Yeah, there's definitely potential for an insane storyline. By the way, what do you say to a female Inosuke? I guess the author's already done that, all on their own with a feminine face and all. All of a sudden, we would have a brash and aggressive girl who defy all the social norms of the Demon Slayer world. We're talking about a strong and wild girl who wears a boar's face as a mask in a world where someone like Mitsuri gets rejected for being too masculine. Just by existing, Inosuke would leave an everlasting impression on every character he comes across. I mean, there's no way he's wearing a shirt even if he's a girl. Plus, imagine the character dynamics a female Inosuke would have with Zenitsu. Peak fiction for real. By the way, who remembers Zoro's backstory? He had a childhood friend named Kuina who believed that she won't ever be the strongest because she'll ultimately lose to a man. Zoro disagreed with her because he had already lost to her like 2,000 times, but she tragically died. Now, I only reference Zoro to give you an idea, but what we have here is something much more complicated. It's Michikatsu and Yoriichi, except Michikatsu is a girl. Imagine this, he's born a girl but still aspires to be a samurai. But then he eventually learns the reality of things and also comes to the realization that his brother is basically the chosen one. This will send Michikatsu into all kinds of self-loathing, jealousy, envy, and hate. If only he was born a boy like his brother. If only he was his brother, he would have been the chosen one. The level of internal conflict would be legendary. There's no doubt about it. Michikatsu would still choose to become a demon. And considering how I went out of my way to reference the Zoro backstory, what if Muichiro is a girl too? Now imagine this. Michikatsu gives up on becoming a samurai like he planned and then becomes a demon. But centuries later, his descendant, a girl, manages to not only become a wonderful Hashira, but also eventually surpasses him. Damn. Alright, finally, it's about time we swap the genders of the two MCs themselves. What if Nezuko was a boy? Demon Slayer is filled with complicated brother relationships. We have Muichiro and Yoichiro, Michikatsu and Yoriichi, Sanemi and Genya. All of them are the kind of relationships where one of them just can't be honest about their true feelings. That's why it's interesting to consider how the story would go if Nezuko was a boy. I'd say Tanjiro would still be a protective older brother, and Nezuko would still come in clutch the way she has done in the actual story. But even if the two of them do the exact same things as they did in the story, the narrative would feel different for the sole reason that they're both brothers. It would also parallel Michikatsu and Yoriichi in a rather ironic manner, because Nezuko would be a demon and Tanjiro would be a sun breather. But here's something even more interesting. What if Tanjiro was a girl? What if Demon Slayer was a tale of two sisters struggle instead? Tanjiro's core traits like kindness, determination, and empathy would remain the same, but just the fact that he's a girl would add so much novelty to the story as a whole. Think about it. An older sister setting out on a nigh impossible quest to find Muzan and ultimately revert the younger sister back to being a human. That too, in a world where traditional gender roles decide the trajectory of your life. There's something magical about this premise. Plus, there's a lot of implications about the character interactions too. Zenitsu would definitely fall in love with female Tanjiro, while Inosuke would develop a similar bond as he did with Shinobu. What do you think? Ever wondered if there could be an even stronger combination of Hashira than the current ones in the original universe? Well, I built the literal strongest Hashira lineup in Demon Slayer history here, and you won't believe who made the cut.